Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. From the discussion so far, it seems as though only the person who has identified that moksha is the end and I need to do karma for my antakarna shuddhi is the one who is pursuing Ishwara. Okay? In order to, and everybody else is, it seems to us as though they are not in the path of Ishwara. Okay? To negate this idea, Lord Krishna says in the next verse, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. So, repeat after me. Ye yatha mam prapadyante
Ye yatha mam prapadyante
tam sathaiva bhajamyaham Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manushya Partha Sarvashaha. So, if you, how many people in this world think that moksha is the end that I am searching? How many? In terms of percentage?
Percentage. Oh, no.
How many know about
total
moksha?
population.
How many even know?
0.0000%.
Exactly. Right? And how many people really then identify that, okay, for moksha I need self-knowledge?
Again the same person.
Again, within the people who are searching for freedom, even a smaller part. Okay? Then the people who have the teacher who will make them see some realities accurately without adding their own meaning. How many? Even less. How many will actually make an effort to grow so that one can understand accurately?
Pure.
So that means then it may think that the people who are in the so-called path of Ishwara are so minusculely small numbers and everybody else is what? A lost soul. Okay, Lord Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartma anuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Anybody who is doing anything in this world is following my path. Right? Because this is very nice, okay? He says, Mama Vartma, it's only my Vartma, which is my, people are always everywhere following only me. Okay? So therefore, now we have to understand that the moksha, the person who is seeking moksha certainly is
Advanced.
Is exactly following me because wants to know the nature of Ishwara, wants to relate, wants to know one's relationship with Ishwara. So that person is following. If you are following, let's say Artha is securities, is it outside Ishwara? It is not outside Ishwara. What did we now understand?
Your securities are Ishwara.
Exactly.
Everything, all that is here.
Absolutely. Right? So that means we just saw that the principle which gives me, what it gives me the desire to get the securities is what? Programming in my brain, which is part of Ishwara. I am given different objects for which, behind whom I go to get that security is also who has created those objects? Ishwara. that I have different means of pursuing different forms of security. Where is that possibility? Also within Ishvara.
So everybody has a chance.
Exactly. Right? Don't exclude anyone. Okay? This whole dichotomy, I am spiritual and others are lost souls, they are materialist, it is something, Lord Krishna doesn't have a complex like that. You may have a complex of judging the world as ignorant, not materialistic. He says, whoever is doing whatever is following me.
All are potentially spiritual.
Exactly, right? Because any resource that you are following, that resource itself is Ishvara. Right? Any form of wealth that you enjoy, gold, cows, houses, okay? All this, the gold, where does it come from? Has human being made that gold? Diamonds. Has human being made those diamonds? Or when we call artificial diamonds, what rate do they have? Which is man creation? 1/10. When Ishwara's creation, what we call real diamond, when we go into this thing and dig that, what is the value? Is it created by us? No. Okay? If you are going for gold, you are not outside Ishvara. Because neither you are outside Ishvara, nor the gold is outside Ishvara. Right? Different forms of pleasure that you pursue. You want to go to Bahamas to enjoy life. Who has created Bahamas? Ishvara. So you are pursuing your karma and you are saving all this money to go and enjoy your life in Bahamas. Are you outside Ishvara? No. Right? The very place that you want to go to as your karma itself is created by Ishvara. Okay. So therefore, Lord Krishna says, whoever is doing whatever is actually within me. It's like this Indra's net. Because forms are me, the possibilities are me, the laws within which all the interactions take place are me. Different people engage in life differently, looking at it differently in form of different forms of likes and dislikes. All this arrangement is me. Nobody is outside my scope. Okay? He says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante. You propitiate, you value money, people, then you propitiate Ishvara as what? Money, and devote your whole life to what? Getting that. Okay? And if you are following the laws properly, I will bless that person with what that person is looking for. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. If you see me from the standpoint of one given thing, right, I will bless you in that form, provided you make proper efforts, provided you identify the laws and act in keeping with those laws.
You get what you ask for.
Exactly. You get what you ask for. If you follow, if you say Artha and Dharma is not enough, I want, Artha and Kama is not enough, I want to little bit understand Dharma, that possibility of understanding how laws of Dharma work is also a potential. Right? And then you try to align your life with this Dharma that is within Ishvara or outside Ishvara. That is also Ishvara. And you make a statement, I'm good human being, I don't harm anybody, right? And I don't take anything, wrongly from anybody. I'm living a clean life and this is enough for me. So that means you are living what we call dharmic life. You are within Ishwara. If you are an artharthi, which is looking for different forms of security and very busy trying to get different sources of security, you are within Ishwara. Having gained the security, now you are committed to pleasure, different forms of pleasure, you are within Ishwara. Whichever pursuit, this is why Vedas don't have a judgment. They don't have any problem. Oh, why should you relate to Ishvara by just asking for something? Why not? Why not? You want it. And you want to improve your chances of getting it. Why not? What is wrong with it? You have value. Veda is not telling you you should have value for it. You already have value for it. For anything that you have value for, you want to get what? Increase your possibility of getting it. Why not? There is nothing wrong with it. Lord Krishna is saying, stop judging all opinions that we have. We think we are very intellectual, we have all these opinions. There is nothing wrong, it's very practical. The whole world is engaged in getting things. Vedas are actually helping you to get those things by taking care of the unknown variables. They are not judging you by saying you are materialistic. They say, hey, if you want help, come, I'll come and help you.
So it's not that only intellectuals or only haves have access to that.
Exactly. Anybody has access to anything. World is benevolent. You help yourself. Options are given. What keeps you from exercising that option? Your own judgments. Right? So change your judgments because they are not based on realities. He doesn't have problem. He doesn't exclude the people who, he doesn't declare that only people who seek moksha are my people, everybody else is all doomed. He doesn't make this statement. He doesn't call them materialist. He doesn't give them names. He is just saying whoever is doing whatever and making an effort, I will give the result according to the laws. Because the laws are me. The possibilities are me. Now, if everybody is following, is within Ishvara, then everybody is equally following Ishvara.
The intensity could be different.
Exactly.
Following the Dharma.
Exactly. Right? No, everybody is within the scope of Ishvara. There are some people who don't even know there is Ishvara. They deny. They say there is no Ishvara. They are not even aware of the fact that you can't be away from Ishvara no matter what you do. There are others who say there is Ishvara but have a very partial understanding of what that Ishvara is. They said, there must be some force. That's it. I don't want to really look into too much what that force is, what is the nature of that force, what is my relationship with that force. All that, let it be all ambiguous. Okay, it's fine. Right? Or I think that now I am looking at the world, I have decided what is fair, and if it doesn't conform, if what happens doesn't conform to what I have decided as fair, I give names to Ishwara. I'm highly judgmental about Ishwara. It's unfair, it's this, I give names.
Yes, yes. Ishwara
Okay.
of Ishwara.
You try to be Ishwara of Ishwara. Okay? I don't acknowledge the presence. I have vague ideas about Ishwara. I judge Ishwara and say this is unfair Ishwara.
When things go wrong.
When
Not
things
they
go
right.
wrong, when they go right, oh, I'm very good. I'm proud. It's all me.
I do it.
I did it.
I did
When
it.
things don't go right, this whole thing is wrong.
His fault.
Right? So this is where I have the choice, and Ishvara is looking and laughing at all of this, the whole play. Because I have also been given the opportunity to correct this vision. If I was just left with that, then you can say Ishvara is sadistic. Because I'm caught in my wrong notions and he's just letting me what they are. Ishvara has also given me the capacity to look into the true nature. That possibility is also given to me. Don't blame Ishvara. If you choose to stay within your parameters of wrong understanding of Ishvara, when the possibility is given to you to correct those notions, don't blame Ishvara. Right? That you collapse the possibility is also grace of Ishvara. You need that grace. And you ask for that grace. You ask for help. Through your prayers. Ask for help. Ishvara, I want to know what is your true nature. Connect me to the teaching and the teacher who can explain to me what your true nature is. Because I am confused with all these different possibilities of ideas of who you are. And as long as I have erroneous ideas, I can't reconcile anything.
So that should be the main prayer.
That is your main prayer. Show me your true nature. Connect me to individual and teaching which will show me your true nature. In that knowing the true nature of Ishvara, you also have to ask one more question. What is my relationship with you? Ask for that. Because then you're using the free will to gain the maximum benefit of your buddhi. Until then, you're partially using your buddhi. Right? Ishvara doesn't have any problem with your partial using, but it is for your own self. You're underutilizing it. It's fine. Okay? So he doesn't have this missionary zeal of converting everyone.
Waiting for you to come.
Waiting for you to come and bring to his flock. Otherwise condemning you as sinner. Doesn't have this problem. Right? So this is what he says, that whoever is doing whatever is within my laws. Nobody can escape my laws. The forms are within my laws, the objects are within my laws, the laws that connect the object with one object with everything else is within my laws. Within that, you can choose what you are interested in. Whatever you choose, that will be given to you. So make sure you use your experiences in the world to choose the right thing. Okay, so a moksharthi is using the maximum potential that buddhi has to know Ishvara in its entirety and not erroneous notion or partiality. Okay? Now, if that person has chosen to know Ishvara, exposed oneself to this knowledge which is given in Upanishads and Gita, made enough effort to prepare himself for this knowledge, what is the result? The result is given in the next verse. Okay? Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha nanagnidagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. Okay? Gnanagni. Through this fire of knowledge, when I begin to inquire, which is, I need to make you chant, sorry. Yasya sarve samarambhaha
Yasya sarve samarambhaha
kama sankalpa varjitaha
kama sankalpa varjitaha
gnanagnidagdha karmanam
jnanagdidagdha karmanam
tamahu panditam buddhaha.
tamahu panditam buddhaha.
Okay? Gnanagni daddha karmanam. We saw previously, if the person chooses moksha and for moksha the person understands that I need to discover my true nature, then what is the teaching of Gita? Who are you? Are you this little individual? No. It makes you see the fact that you are what? Brahman. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. Okay, what did we see? I am existence, I am awareness, and I am, that awareness is limitless. That awareness has never performed any action. Never. Who has performed action?
The Jiva.
Jiva, which is due to ignorance, taking oneself to be this little individual, right, has sense of inadequacy. In order to remove the sense of inadequacy, what? I want this, I want this, I want this. And in order to get it, chosen certain actions and experiencing what? The consequences of these actions. So as long as that understanding that I am this little individual remains, karma continues. There is never an end, because the karmas that you have in your account are just too many. And those karmas will give karma phala. Like the laws of action and reaction. Nobody can escape the laws of action and reaction. And the laws do not have the time frame of limited time frame. They continue for how long? The laws of genetics, the laws of anything is infinite. Right? So this is where till the time that you continue to live in that root cause, which is ignorance, what happens? You are within karma. Now, Jnanagni, the light of knowledge. When you now say, hey, am I this little individual who's infinitely caught in the cycle of birth and death? What do you discover? The physical body, I am not. Because it's nothing but sense. Variable. The mind, I am not. Right? It's changing all the time. I am the observer of the mind. The causal body which brings about different physical and subtle body, am I?
I am not.
I am not. Right? Because I am not even an action, so I cannot be the result of the action either. Right? The causal body, I am not. If I am not the physical body, I am not the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. I am not the Karana Sharira. Who am I? It's all Jnanagni. Jnanagni means inquiry based. Self-discovery based on inquiry. I discover myself to be, we saw, awareness which has no boundaries. You remember that? Attribute-free awareness which has no limitation. If this is who I am, then if this, what have I done? That ignorance that was about Atma, what have I done? Jnanagni has burnt that ignorance. The fire of knowledge has burnt this ignorance of millennia. That I am this little individual.
And also that I am doing.
Exactly. This whole notion that I am the doer. Okay? Because awareness is not the doer. What is then the doer? It is ahankara, the I sense, along with the mind, using buddhi, is the so-called doer. Okay? But all that I am not. This is something that the Panditaha has understood by inquiring into the true nature of I. Once that basic fundamental mistake is corrected, Jnanagni dagdha karmanaha tam ahuhu panditam buddhaha. The Buddha, the wise person, called this person who has removed the ignorance a Buddha. Okay? If somebody who is ignorant and calls you a very wise person, it's like people thinking what? Jayalalitha is the queen. Right? So now who is judging?
Ignorant.
The ignorant. Right? So therefore, just somebody thinks you are a king or a queen is very easy. You'll always find somebody that you can fool. Okay? Here he says, Pandit Buddhaha, the wise people call this person Pandita. Means somebody who knows. Who is the person who knows? Who has Jnanagni Datta Karmana. Okay? Has burnt all the karma which has been going on for what? Millennia, through what? Jnanagni, by inquiring into the true nature of Atma. Okay? So here he says that Jnanagni datta karmanaha tamahuhu panditam buddhaha. Imagine now you have removed the ignorance about your true nature, then how will you engage in the world? What is your perspective? I am awareness, which is limitless, right? And the whole world, what did we see? Is mithya. We saw that. Right? It depends upon that awareness for its existence. If this is something which is clearly understood, then you have to transact, because you still have one body. We saw prarabdha karma does not go away. The connection with the body still remains. We saw that. Okay? How will you now transact with the world? Okay? Here he says, Yasya sarve samarambaha, okay, kama sankalpa varjitaha. The person is free with reference to the world. Before, how did I engage in the world? I was somebody who was lacking and I was depending upon world to fulfill me. That was the orientation. Now, what is my orientation?
I am perfect.
I am the whole. The whole world is what? It's a whole big play. Within this play, I am one of the characters, because the whole world is a relative world. In this relative world, I am also what? One of the participant character. I'm placed uniquely. I have to do my job. But do I have this sense of lack with which I engage in the world? Do I depend upon the world to fill this inadequacy that I am fraught with? No. So this is where we say the binding desires, the desires where what? My well-being is dependent upon this given object, without which I am incomplete. This orientation goes away. If this orientation goes away, this capacity to desire that I have, I use it for what? Loka sangraha.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you help. You use this capacity to desire and said, okay, I want to become a teacher, I want to start a social project, I want to do something. And this is lovely. These are all very, what you had written, sattvic desires. Good, wonderful. Your capacity to desire becomes what? A whole big blessing of Ishwara. You
So
use
I am
that
not
capacity.
doing it only for the purpose of my fulfillment of desire.
In fact, your whole problem of non-fulfillment has been solved forever.
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 By knowing the reality about your true nature. So now, desire becomes an embellishment, not a problem. Because before, desire became a problem because the object of desire, to that object I attributed what? My well-being. Now, my well-being, the problem of my well-being is solved forever by knowing my true nature. Then this capacity to desire, which is one of the manifestation of Ishwara, is used what? Productively to accomplish many things in the world. Okay, so that means before I engaged in the world to what? Fill my lack. Now I engage in the world to what? Express my fullness.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Not, oh, you should stay away from the world, world is evil. Hey, world is Ishwara.
Not
Okay.
for lack, not for
Not
power.
not for lack, not for power, not for what? Sankalpa. What can I get out of this world to fill my thing? What? Out of fullness. You feel so full that you have no problem in sharing whatever skills, whatever things that you have. Do what you have to do. Play your role. Because you are placed in the scheme of things.
So giving becomes natural,
Giving becomes natural.
like sun.
Exactly. Lovely. Giving becomes natural. Like sun. Effortless.
It's like more than giving, you sharing.
You're sharing, exactly. You're just sharing.
Yeah.
You're just playing your part.
Because you don't feel that you possess.
Exactly. Even that you don't possess. Absolutely.
You are being you, that's it.
You're being you.
Sun
Absolutely.
is being sun, that's
Sun
it.
is being sun. Okay? So this is what this kama sankalpa varjitaha doesn't mean the person has no desires, the person has no sankalpa, the person is like never thinking about anything. We are not talking about any of that. That is so artificial. Okay? So this is what he says. Now, how does one gain this knowledge? Right? You have decided you want to do self-discovery.
Buy books Sunday.
I'm going to read all the books. I think I think many people, especially Surya, when he introduces himself, he gives a story that he says, that from young age, I think from 11 or 13-year-old, he was just reading books, right? So initially he read lots and lots of books related to spirituality. Then he was not too satisfied. Then he read lots and lots of books, neurosciences. Then he was not satisfied. Then he read lots and lots of books, quantum physics. Then he was not satisfied. Okay? So now one day he says, enough of books.
Okay.
I want a live teacher. Really, he tells his story. Right? Books, we are not saying they are useless. Please don't take that they are useless. The very fact he came to this point when he said that the books are useless.
Should I throw it again? Yes.
Right? The very fact that he came to this point, the books contributed. Please don't think that books were useless. I'm not making a point books are useless. In fact, the books gave him the whole culture of looking into what? The whole, the more you understand neurosciences, it's one of the manifestation of Ishwara. The quantum physics is manifestation of Ishwara, how the atoms work. Psychology is manifestation of one of the manifestation of Ishwara. It cultivates your psyche. But to put it all together, you need something more. Right? So this is where the next verse he says, Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Okay? This whole process is something which is important. Okay? That you approach, okay, that tadviddhi pranipatena. Go to a teacher who is able to teach you your true nature. Not the teacher who says, I am the great one, you have this lost soul, I have these powers, with these powers I will take away your ailments, I will take away this, I will take away that, or you should be like this, you should be like that, you should not have that. Yeah, okay, I don't want to have that, but I am stuck with it, now you tell me how to get rid of it. Right? The person who doesn't give me advice, you are the lost soul, you are under my wing, I will take care of you. No. Who is the true teacher? Who says, what Shastra say? You are the whole. And I will show you how it is so. It is one of the most empowering there is zero control, there is zero power game. The teacher has no obligation to teach you. The teacher takes on the responsibility, if you want to learn, to communicate to the best of the teacher's ability to share what one has to share. And the teacher is aware of the fact that there are going to be resistance. Because what Shastras say is so different from what you think you are, there has to be resistance. And the teacher is not afraid. Teacher is not afraid for that commitment, like a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Once you take on the patient, there is going to be a challenge because it's a relationship. The challenge, no problem. I am willing to take that challenge. Okay? Because I have nothing to gain, but I am willing to share what I have to share. Right? So this is how he says, but in order to inspire the teacher, what is the attitude with which one approaches the teacher?
So attitude of the mentee.
The attitude of the person who's, the teacher is not asking you to come and learn from me. Please understand. It is you who has decided to go to the teacher. If you make the choice, what is your attitude? You have to have a proper attitude.
To learn.
To learn. Okay? If you have an attitude to learn, how do you approach the teacher? He says, with openness. Pariprashnena. Okay? Now, this is something which is very important, right? We are not talking about blind faith. He says prashna. Prashna means questions. You are bound to have questions. It is not possible not to have questions. The whole methodology of Adi Shankara Bhashyam is question and answer. He will first say what Upanishads say, and then he will raise questions, and then he will answer those questions. Questions are very important part of learning. But pariprashnena. Pariprashna is what? What is pariprashna? There is a prefix attached to prashna.
The way in which it is.
The way in which it is asked, the attitude with which it is asked, all this is very important. You know, you go to a music concert and there is an artist who is a world famous artist, and you put in the front row people who have no value for music. They are sleeping.
Donors.
Right?
They get free ticket.
Or the people who are just so committed to some rock music or whatever, right? And you go and you put this best artist in front of these people. They are maestros. They will perform. They will perform. And the next concert you put people who understand music, who appreciate the subtleties, who enjoy the music that the artist is rendering, who is appreciative. The artist's performance will change. All the top artists tell you that.
Yes, yes.
Right? Because it's a relationship, it's an interaction. The interaction, the quality of that interaction depends upon both. Either you can invoke the best in the teacher or you can put the teacher off. You ask very good questions, the teacher is inspired. Thoughtful questions, well put questions, well reflected. Lovely. It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Really, it's a pleasure. Okay? Or you ask aggressive, negating questions. The teacher can handle it. Sometimes the teacher needs to handle it well too. Okay. But the whole beauty is what? You are breaking this whole harmony. Okay. So this is where he says pariprashnena sevaya. Sevaya means what? That, you know, here we are not talking about the person has to do seva. Then you have all these cliches about, oh, you are, pressing. Yeah, exactly. Sweep and mop the teacher's room, do the massage the teacher's feet. We are not talking about things like that. Right? What is the attitude? The attitude is the following, that what I have received through this teacher is unpayable. What can you pay to somebody who shows you your limitlessness? What will you give? What will you give? 1,000 rupees is enough? 10,000 rupees is enough?
No money is enough.
No money is enough. No money. It's unrepayable. This is a fact. If you understand that the teacher's contribution to your life cannot be payable, then what? You do whatever little you can do, in whichever way you can do. This is the attitude. That means you understand the value of what you are getting. Don't take for granted. Teacher has no obligation to teach you. No obligation whatsoever. Okay. If the teacher is teaching you something which is invaluable, which cannot be paid for, at least what is your attitude? You're grateful. Don't take it for granted. That gratefulness is what we say the change of psyche. Just the same gratefulness to what? The sun, all the forces which are giving you what you need. Same. But here, infinitely more. Okay? So this is the attitude which is said. Seva is just that attitude.
That attitude.
Right? Not that you have to sweep and mop.
Yeah.
Right?
It is
So
gratitude.
this is gratitude.
So it has both the modesty part, the
Modesty
gratitude
part and gratitude
or
part.
that neocortical part.
For neocortical part. By seeing the values accurately. Okay? So pariprashnena sevaya, then upadekshanti jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Then you inspire them to do their best to give you. Yeah, you inspire. Your presence can really inspire somebody. Our teacher Swamiji, even today, he chooses the people who are in front. Yeah, he says that I want this person. He said, no, you go there, back. He does. He says it affects my teaching. Okay. The person who's totally uninterested and yawning and sleeping, imagine the person is sitting right in front of you and you have an interested face who's really trying to absorb. It makes world of difference. This is Ishwara's order. It is Ishwara's order.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is where he says, you inspire teacher or you put off teacher by your behaviors. Okay? Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Who are the people who give you this knowledge? They see the reality. Tattvadarshi. Darshi means people who see the reality. They are jnanis, they are wise people. They know what they are talking about. They make you see what they see. Right? They make you see your fullness. They make you see your connection with Ishwara. Okay. So this is what he says. Without that live teacher, live guru, you can read number of books. Okay. I'm not saying the books are useless, but they have a certain limitation. That final gap between books and knowledge, you need a live person. This is true in every discipline. You can sit at home and read books of mathematics. You can read, there are n number of, you go to a library. How many books of mathematics will you find? All, right? Physics will you find, any discipline that you have, you will find infinite number of physical books. Nowadays you have Google, you type one subject matter and you will have what? How many different articles and resource materials for every topic that you type, infinite. And you can sit and look and look and look. In terms of your wisdom, you may or may not get anywhere. Or you can use it, but that final gap is filled by a live person. This is Ishwara's order too. Okay? I need to understand something totally to be able to transfer it to somebody else. You need a person who has understood what these Shastras are talking about to be able to transfer to you. Okay? So here he says, Tattvadarshinaha. Now, this next verse is a little bit, as I said, there are two choices that are given. Here, Lord Krishna very explicitly shows his preference for Karma Yoga. Okay? You go to a teacher, you start learning, that may require for you to be away from the activities of the world for either, 5 days, 10 days, 3 years, whatever. Right? So for a length of time, you have to, in some ways, right now, so many people come to my weekly classes. Right? Where they come, they listen for 1.5 hours and then they go home. Then when they come here and spend 5 days or 10 days, what do they say? It makes a huge difference. Right? So that means you have chosen for a length of time to give yourself this time just to study. That's lovely. That's beautiful. That's required. Because what is said is not something which is very simple. It requires reflection. Vinod was saying before, like you go home and you have all these activities, here I can sit and I can think about what I have heard. That leisure gives it a much bigger strength. Okay? So therefore, for some amount of time, it is necessary to immerse yourself in the teaching. But as a lifestyle, does it then mean that you leave everything else? Here he says, the next verse, okay? Shri Bhagavanu Vacha
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha
Sannyasa Karma Yogascha
Sannyasa Karma Yogascha
Nishreyasakara Vubhau
Nishreyasakara Vubhau
Tayostu Karma Sannyasat
Tayostu Karma Sannyasat
Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
Okay? He says, whether you choose a lifestyle of having found the right teacher, having gained a certain focus in your pursuit for liberation. Okay? So generally you find sannyasis who are just not doing anything. They are just sitting and living. The sannyasa, as it is enjoined in the Vedas, it is meant for moksha, which is meant for self-discovery. And self-discovery is gained through what? Shastra. Studying Shastra. What Shastra has to say about nature of I. Removing my veils of ignorance. Okay? So therefore, this is what he says. Sannyasi is also supposed to be studying and sharing.
Yes.
Okay? So here he says, and the karma yogi, imagine that you have studied enough from your teacher and you decide to engage in the world, not necessarily give up the roles. What will you do? You will continue to learn, and you can also continue to share if you feel that you have learned enough at some point. Okay? Moksha, self-discovery, gaining knowledge and sharing whatever, if you think you have enough, is something which is for both sannyasi and karma yogi. Okay? One person has taken restricted role, other person continues to play the roles. both will gain nishreyasa. Nishreyasa means moksha. Ubhav means both. Don't think that only, a lot of people have this notion in India that only sannyasis will get the knowledge. That is not true. He says, Shreyas means, which we saw, moksha. Both karma yoga lifestyle and sannyasa lifestyle will give you the moksha that you are searching for. Okay? Among the two, if both give you this moksha, which seems like an easier lifestyle? Sannyasa. Because you give up everything. Very easy. All the challenges, now there's so many challenges. I give up everything, I just sit, I study Brahma Vidya, I go to an ashram, beautiful environment, cut off from the world's responsibilities. Seems so much easier, right? If somebody tells you that both will lead you to the same goal, one is seeming much easier, the other one is harder, how is human buddhi? You choose the easier. Everybody will choose the easier, right? That is human mind. How do I get there the fastest and the easiest way? Okay? So if both sannyasa and karma yoga will give you moksha, then our tendency is to what? Choose the easier part. What seems to be an easier part is sannyasa. Here he says, tayoho, of the two, karma sannyasat karma yogaha vishishyate. Right? Karma yoga is better than karma sannyasa. Why? Because for that self-discovery, what is required is self-growth. Right? And karma, when you are engaged in the world, it gives you more opportunities for self-growth.
Yes. You can discover more dimensions, you would get more exposure.
Exactly.
And you are facing the challenges and balancing the roles.
Excellent. Excellent. Right? That whole thing.
Constantly accommodating.
Absolutely.
That is the process of the growth.
Right? So here he says, and in sannyasa at times you may abort that growth. Okay? So that's why he says karma yoga is a very important part. So find the right teacher, get the right knowledge, what? Expose yourself to Shastra by asking proper questions with proper attitude, where the Tattvadarshi will show you the reality and continue to do what? Living a life of karma yoga, which will give you an opportunity for self-growth. Okay? Then he says a very interesting question, a very interesting verse. This is a very nice verse. Okay? It says, Uddharetatmanatmanam
Uddharetatmanatmanam
Natmanam avasadayet
Natmanam avasadayet
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu
Atmaiva bandhu
Atmaiva ripuratmanaha.
Atmaiva ripuratmana.
Okay. Very, very nice.
Very nice.
Atmahi atmanaha bandhuhu. Yourself, either you can be your best friend or atmai hi ripuratmanaha.
Ripu is enemy.
Enemy. You can be your best friend or you can be your best enemy. So here he is fantastic. This whole orientation of blaming the world. This is where Swamiji was saying yesterday, the focus is on myself,
Not on changing.
not on changing the world. There is a very beautiful, I have one Parsi lady who comes to my class. She once gave me a beautiful example. How to say that focus on oneself. She said, once a child was given a puzzle. Okay? A puzzle which was extremely complex puzzle. So it was extremely difficult to solve that puzzle. When an adult gives it to the child, the adult is almost sure that the child cannot solve it. Right? Now, after half an hour, the child has solved the puzzle. Right? So this person is totally amused that this such a complex puzzle, how has the child solved this whole puzzle? So ask the child, how did you do it? The child said, very simple. The child said, behind this puzzle, there is one human face. That human face is very easy to fix. When I fixed the human face, which was behind, the front part got solved. Right? There is one human face, the one person who understands the world. I never look into the onlooker. I try to fix everything outside without fixing myself. As long as I don't fix myself, the puzzle will always remain. The puzzle is too complex. But if I fix myself, my attitudes, my understanding, the whole thing gets fixed. What do I discover in this inimical? What do I discover? All that is here is me. There is only one. There is no second. All that is here is Ishwara. I am connected to this Ishwara. How did I look at the world? Which was giving me infinite suffering.
And that is.
Why me? Guilt. Okay. Fears, anxieties, frustrations, feeling of helplessness, anger. Right? And not reducing, multiplying as I transact with the world. Okay? So this is where the whole fix is here, the human face. You, the person. Okay? So this is where he says, Uddhare, if you want to solve the puzzle, you look at yourself. Don't, the whole focus, our tendency is to fix the world.
Yeah. In that puzzle, the other part is actually the map of the world.
Yeah.
The map of the
Map
world.
of the world. So
Okay.
what the adult tells the child, that you put the map of the world in place.
Okay.
And what the child does is
This
this.
is this.
So when you place yourself in order, the world itself comes in order.
The order. Yeah. Right. So this is where Uddharet Atmanatmanam. At any given point in time, we always have this, infinite, this thing, oh, why this person has to go through this? These questions, and then, because I don't understand, world is unfair. I don't say I don't understand. I say what? Things are not right. I can say, it's true, I don't understand. Correct. Things are unfair, your conclusion. And with this conclusion, is it self-enhancing or self-depreciating? Things are unfair. If this becomes the basis of your interaction with the world, are you helping yourself or are you acting against yourself? Exactly. Right? You can have wrong notions. Nobody else is losing anything. Who's losing? You. Right? Uddharet Atmanatmanam. This has happened. I don't know why it has happened. I have two choices here. Either I can continue to tell myself things are unfair and then what? Keeping on acting further with this understanding things are unfair and further get me into dissatisfaction mode, or I can say, what can I do? What can I do constructively, right, to help myself or the person or the situation? This choice belongs to you. Uddharet atmana atmanam. Don't, every time people give me scenarios of this hopelessness, they are such ridiculous scenarios. I don't engage in answering those scenarios. Everything is grim, everything is bad, you're helpless, you're stuck, and there is no answer. If you try to enter into solving this scenario, you only can make the person see the scenario itself as a fault. There is no such scenario possible. Because Ishwara doesn't work like that. Right? So this is where you have to change the understanding of the person. There is no other way. If you take that understanding as reality and try to solve it, there is no solution. You make the person understand that the way you understand is not the way things are. Things are different. Then, if things are different than what you understand, where is your then commitment? Uddharet atmanatmanam. Try to understand things differently. There is no other solution. As long as you want to retain your wrong understanding and then think that this wrong understanding is a right understanding and then solve the problem, there is no solution. If you want to solve the problem, what do?
You change the view.
You change the view. See it more in keeping with what is. That is the only solution. Okay? All this endless pitying oneself, why me, why me, why me? Victim, anger, all this can only go if I revise my conclusion about the way the world is and the way I am. The responsibility is on me. The possibility is given by Ishwara. Don't blame Ishwara if you don't choose to collapse those possibilities. Okay, so this is where we say the best of the best teacher can be in front of you and you will be as untouched as possible if you are not willing. There is a very nice story in Kenopanishad. In Kenopanishad, there is this amazing teacher and there are two students who are sitting in front of the teacher and the teacher is doing the wonderful job of explaining everything. What is the nature of I? What is the nature of the cause of the universe? What is your relationship with Ishwara? All that is beautifully explained. There are two students. After the whole teaching is over, one student reiterates what the teacher is saying in his own language so beautifully. He summarizes what the teacher has said, not just repeating blindly, but through one's own understanding, right, what is being said. The teacher is so pleased because when you put the teaching in your own words and not just repeat what the teacher is saying, the teacher knows exactly how much you have understood. Right? So the teacher is very pleased because this person has captured the whole essence and reproduced it in one's own words. That teacher is very happy. The other student says, "Teacher, can you teach me Upanishad?" Means the whole Upanishad is over and the person doesn't even realize that the Upanishad is taught. Both are possibility. Right? Uddharet atmana atmanam. You find the best teacher in the world. If you are not ready, nothing will happen.
As they say, at the end of Ramayana, you ask what was the relationship between Rama and Sita.
Rama and Sita. Is Ravana a hero or a villain?
Or villain.
Right? So this is what he says, that there are your responsibilities all the way. Till the time you come to moksha, after coming to the right teacher, your responsibilities are all the way. Till the time that you gain this knowledge, you can either help yourself or you can what? Act against yourself. Okay, so this is where he says, now what accounts for all these different range of people and their receptivity? Okay, so the next verse is talking about the whole world, which is constituting of different people, is made up of what? 3 gunas.
Yeah.
Right? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So how each student that comes, does each student come with exactly the same?
No.
Right? So this is what he says, that the students are different, right? The circumstances are different. The 3 gunas interplay and make the whole world what it is. Okay? And how it works, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Guru Namaha Hari Om.